Okay, you'll see here that the pencil anode bolt is square. Now I've no idea why they've made it square, but that's Volvo for you. But what had happened is that the edges of this had been rounded off. The corners had been rounded off where someone had tried to use a socket on there or a adjustable spanner, and obviously just rounded it off after it being seized. So a couple of things, considering that I've actually just managed to get it undoing slightly, is a couple of tips on what I've done. I've got this socket set, and I found that this is actually a 1/2 inch, and I guessed and was hoping that this on the alternate side of the socket, that is actually exactly the right size, and it's square. So that's perfect. So that fits on there nicely after I buffed up the edges a little bit. And then I took my largest Allen key that I found, which was a 3/8, got the correct size socket, and I'm using that inside the hexagonal piece of the socket, and thereby having a nice fitted tool to go on this rather strange shaped bolt. So that's great. What I then learned from the various other YouTube videos is don't tap it with a hammer, because then it's just going to break off the head of the bolt, and rather than that, use some kind of a lever, a bar or something like that. So I've got this stainless steel tubing which I previously had, and I slotted that over the top of this, and I got a little bit of more leverage to leverage that open. Before I did that though, I also saw on YouTube some tips on putting some dry ice on there, or some ice, and kind of chilling the brass down, because it will cool down faster than the surrounding metal. And a friend of mine at work actually suggested that I try this air duster, which is used for cleaning and blowing air into keyboards and cleaning up computers and stuff like that. But when you tip it upside down and you squirt that, what that actually comes out is all this compressed air, but it's very, very cold, and actually it will cool down the bolt very directly. So that's what I've done, and I've realized that with cooling it down, with spraying a bit of WD-40 on it, using this bar, using this setup here, it's actually able to free up the bolt, and I can see now that it is actually turning. I get that on there, and I've been able to loosen it. Now I've loosened it quite a bit, but it is turning nicely. And of course I've no idea what well, I have a very good idea on what's going to come out of there. It's going to be like no anode at all. But before I go any further, I'm going to get a bucket under here to catch any water that comes out, and I'll continue recording in a bit. Okay, so I'm just going to continue with loosening this off, and I expect that it's going to be pretty shocking. Or, well, it's not going to be that shocking after 13 years that there's nothing on the inside of it. Yeah, there you go. So here's the new zinc. That's what it should look like, the new zinc anode. I've cleaned out inside there all I could see in there before, which was what I thought was a smaller hole than I had expected. It was the leftover zinc anode from previous. I've had to clear that out, and now I should be able to put this in okay. I'm just going to test it out first to make sure it goes in, and if it does, then I'll put some anti-seize copper compound on this thread so that it doesn't stick. So this is just a test run first. It's a bit difficult, so something may be blocking it. No, nothing was blocking it, so it's gone on pretty well. I'm going to take this off again and put some copper compound Teflon gel on there, anti-seize, to make sure I can take this bolt out again in the future. So this is the stuff I'm going to put on the thread here, so that it doesn't seize. It's supposed to be pretty good stuff. I'm just going to put some of that on the thread, and I'm going to need 2 hands for this. So both the thread on the anode bolt and the anode itself. Need to get this back into the engine and tightened up. So after 13 years of not having any anode replacement, I finally got, and there was even some zinc left over in there, amazingly, but finally got a new anode in there, which I'm very happy with. That'll give me a bit of peace of mind that any corrosion is going to be on the zinc. And I've obviously got a couple more spare anodes. I will check that again in not so distant future and make that a regular maintenance check.